Hello, my name is Emilio Cardenas and I represented Vietnam in the Security Council Committee in MUN Guadalajara 2020. The topics we discussed were the kidnapping and murdering of the terrorist group ISIL and the production of the nuclear weapons around all the world. These topics are needed to be discussed because it's very important to know what is going on around the world, and it's important to know how it could stop, and it's very important to discuss these problems because they affect human rights directly. Not the nuclear one topic more than the terrorist one, but it's still present. The resolution to this problem would be needed to get as soon as possible, as I said, because if it was not quickly attended, it would get worse and it could violate more human rights. During MUN, if all not most of it, all the countries were achieving the same goal of the discussion. But the real arguments came in when it was if we decided to approach this in a military way or in a more pacific way. The position my delegation took, Vietnam, would be supported to the military, however, it will not get involved in military. So Vietnam, as a country that had already passed from all these terrorists topic, Vietnam would not like to get involved again in a military way, so it would help other countries, the bigger countries like the UK, the US. It would help them with economics and goods, but it would not get involved military way. And most of the countries, one specifically, had the same position my delegation did, and it was very interesting because it's fun to see how two countries have the same way of thinking even though they are completely different from each other. The participations in my MUN were very good. Some delegates didn't participate as fluently as others, but it was good nevertheless. Because my country was passive but active, I didn't talk too much, but when I talk, I would make sure I would say something that will help the improvement of the MUN. Since my country is not active regarding the problem, I could not propose a bigger solution than the bigger countries had already proposed. Like I said, the UK or the United States, my delegation could only support the solution that the delegation had. In the end, we finally decided to combine the both proposals of approaching this in a military way and not. The proposal consisted in to get all the terrorists in a military way, but only to use force when it was strictly needed, and and we would create a jury specific for terrorists for this problem to stop, because not all the terrorists did a bigger fall than the others, so they would be judged differently. The position of my country and regarding my personal position, I think they were very well tied up together, because I totally agree with the idea of Vietnam supporting the bigger countries who have more military power and to don't get involved in a military way. So as I said, Vietnam had already passed through that issue of war and terrorism, and I can see why Vietnam would not like to do it again. So the multicultural competencies in MUN helped me a lot to understand two main things. The first one would be it helps you understand what is going on around the world, and it helps you understand what will be the more likely countries to participate in this problem. So in this problem would be, for example, again, the UK and the US, since they were like bigger countries, they could afford more to this problem than the smaller ones. But it helps you understand how the world works, because you can see what's the difference between this and that in a country, and you can see why a country would not participate, and you can see why a country would participate. So I believe the knowledge of this will help me in a future situation if I ever have to visit one of the countries that were present in MUN. So I can see now that Vietnam is a very pacific country, and it's most likely never to be an act of terrorism in this country is very low. And yes, as now that I can see that these countries are Pacific, I know how to behave myself around these countries. So if I ever go to Vietnam, I would act in a Pacific way and in a supportive way. Well, that's my reflection of the moon. Hope you like it. Thank you.